Autumn Raine with Autumn Raine Reads, and I'm back, baby! I know that I disappeared for a good bit. I totally pulled a Boo Radley, but I've returned to give you a March wrap-up. And we're gonna have a really good one because I read a ton of books this month. The first book I read, and one I have to recommend to you, is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. This book was magical. It was fantastic. It was amazing. It was honestly the book of my dreams. I never thought that I was going to be represented in the YA books I read. I just thought, hey, you know, it's not going to happen for me. That's okay. But it did happen. It's so good. And it's not one of those books where the main character is black just to be black, and they sing and they dance and they cook and everything else because they're black. No, this is like a real black person that has a personality, and it is so refreshing. And there is an actual story here. So, in Legendborn, our protagonist is named Bree Matthews, and she discovers that she has magical powers. And around the same time, she also discovers that there are demons running all over the city and other people with magical powers. And then she also notices that something was amiss with her mother's death because her mother just died recently. And so she goes undercover into this secret society with all this magic to discover what really happened. And along the way, she discovers so much more. Honestly, like I said, this book was everything. It had so many twists and turns, and for the first half of the book, I really enjoyed it. And for the second half of the book, I was just praising the author the entire time. It surprised me in all of the best ways, and #1 book, please read it. I am so happy that I had the opportunity to read the book of my dreams. As much as I love Legendborn, I am a reader, so I kept on reading. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I actually did give it a day just to let it soak in, but after that, I went on to my next great book, and that is Grace Year by Kim Liggett. I honestly have no idea if I said that right, so sorry Kim if I messed it up. Okay, Grace Year is actually a bit of a misnomer because the Grace Year is actually a year of hell. Let me explain. So, women and men live in this society where men completely control and oppress the woman. And because they can't keep it in their pants, they decide to send the woman off into the wilderness when they turn 16 so that they can unleash their feminine wiles into nature. Except, it's not as simple as all that, because when the women come back, their spirits are completely broken, and often they're missing like a few fingers, or like an eye, maybe 2 eyes, you know, maybe an ear. And, you know, if that's not your cup of tea, I understand. But for me, this book had everything. It had murder, it had mystery, it had disfigurement, it had, I don't know, high-level plot. Because at the end of the day, what you realize is that this book is a book about humanity. You know, to err is to be human. And you really see what happens when humans set up societies. And it's just so interesting. I don't know if this description is doing the book justice, but you should definitely read it. This book has had a lot of national acclaim, and with good reason. I'm rambling. Basically, you can knock out a whole year of sociology with this one book because it's essentially telling you why humans do what they do. Except it's not telling you, it's showing you. So, once again, Grace Year. Read it. Next up is Wings of Ebony by J.L. A lot of people were excited about this book, including me. And so many people rated this book really well. And that was not my experience. Listen, I wanted to love this book. I really did. I want to give it like at least 4 stars because I'm black. This story is about a girl who's black. She's raised in the hood, and she also has magical powers similar to Legendborn. And she discovers this magical world completely separate from Earth. There's a real story behind it. I was all gung-ho. But unfortunately, the writing is not that good. I just couldn't get through this book because it wasn't a fluid read for me. Like, for example, she went to this magical world, she discovered magic exists, and she was so chill. Like, I was more shocked than her. Mostly, she was upset at her dad. And I was just like, what? The reactions were just entirely off. And there was another instance where she met her sister who thought that she had been dead for a year. And her sister said 2 sentences to her, and then she said, okay. I have a sister. If one of my sisters went missing for a year, and I thought they were dead, you better believe I would have more to say than okay. So many instances like that. So many instances. And for that reason, I cannot give this book anything higher than 3 stars. The authors seem to have made the story up as she was writing. And I looked into it and I found out that she actually wrote the rough draft for this book in 1 month, which is impressive. So considering the timeline, 5 stars. But if I'm going to rate it on the same scale as I rate other books, 3 stars. That said, I'm very happy that a book like this can get published. Didn't think I would see the day, guys. Like, I've been reading for a long time. I've never seen a book like this. So, good job to the author for accomplishing what I thought was very, very unlikely to impossible. Very, very proud of her. That said, not my cup of tea. Okay, another book, or actually a series this time, is Shadow of the Fox by Julia Kagawa. I hope I said that name right. Anyway, this is a really good one. Fun fact, I actually read this book in like late February, and I read the other 2 books in March. So that's right, I finished up this series this month, and I was so happy. I read so many of Julie's works, and this was by far my favorite. It is like anime in book form. So good. So our main character is half human, half fox, and she is tasked with preventing the world from descending into eternal darkness. Because here's what's up. There is a dragon, the harbinger of change, who when summoned can grant any wish, for good or for evil. And because humans be humans, usually the wish is for evil. And so she has to stop this dragon from being summoned, and you get to go on this epic journey that lasts 3 novels. It's so amazing. There's a little romance thrown in, and then there's this really strong theme of found family, because all throughout the book she's meeting these characters that become her friends and then become even more, and it's just so wonderful to read about. It kind of reminded me of One Piece. I'm like an anime nerd, so when I say this is anime in book form, you know, automatically 5 stars for me. And it's kind of funny because each individual book, I think I rated like 4 point something, but collectively the entire series was 5 out of 5. Before I go on to the next book, I'd like to ask you to please give this video a thumbs up. Okay, back to the reads. We are almost to the end, guys. So, another book I finished was Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. This is a love story with time travel. So, here's what happens. There's a guy, he meets a girl, they fall in love, and then she dies. And so, he has to time travel to try to save her life. And each time he does, he falls just more and more in love with her. And so you get to see him find out the meaning of love and the meaning of life. And I know that kind of sounds like a downer, but actually it's quite upbeat. It's very humorous, and I liked it a lot. That said, I don't think it stuck with me in any like particularly meaningful way, and so for that reason, 3 out of 5 stars. But it was really good. It was an enjoyable read. You know what? I changed my mind. 3.5. 3.5 because I really did enjoy reading it, but like I said, nothing particularly special. The last book I finished in March is not here with me, but it is called The Frugalwoods. So if you don't know, I'm a personal finance nerd. I love personal finance, and I actually have a separate YouTube channel where I go over personal finance exclusively. And I read personal finance books all the time, and this one was pretty darn good. So, it's about a couple who reaches financial independence by their 30s through frugality. By saving most of what they earn, they are able to leave the rat race behind and embrace a life where they don't have to have a job to live. America really programs us to buy, and this book will help program you to save, and invest. And because personal finance is not taught in the American public school system, this book is very needed. I would recommend it. I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I love it, so it's like a 5 out of 5 for me, subjectively, but objectively 4 out of 5. That said, should definitely read it, and I think that it's an idea that most of us need to get into our heads. Frugality as opposed to consumerism. These next two books I started reading, but I haven't finished yet. The first one is The Dumb Things Smart People Do With Their Money. This book teaches you how to prevent financial ruin. You can be as smart as a financial planner, but if you make just one of the mistakes in this book, it could be all over for you. And I know that that is very scary to think about, but it's true. And so I really love how this book goes over all of those mistakes. I think that there are 13 of them, and the author does a really good job of explaining how each is really, really bad. I'll definitely be reviewing this book on my financial channel. The last book I have to talk about is The Afterlife of Holly Chase. So I am currently reading this book. I'm very happy with it. I'm halfway through, and I think I got halfway through it in like 2 days. It's not that it's super memorable, it's just that I'm enjoying it a lot. And I think one of the main reasons I enjoy it is because of the character. So Holly Chase is not really a great person, and that's just how it is. She'll tell you that to your face. And what happens in this book is that she's visited by the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, the ghost of Christmas future, all of the ghosts. And they're like, hey, you are a bad person. You need to change your ways. And she doesn't. So then she dies. And she has to work for Project Scrooge, helping other Scrooges like herself reform before they die like she does. Except here's the thing, she still hasn't aced this life thing. And what you find through this book is that bad people don't start out that way. Bad people had hard lives. And so even though it seems like she has everything, you know, she's just dealing with things. And it's nice to see her get to deal with them even after she's dead. And P.S. there's a little romance in this book. I've been enjoying it so far, and I'm very excited to see how it ends. Ha! We did it! Yes, that is everything. I am super excited to start reading in April. I already have a few books in mind. If you are still here, thank you. Please make sure to give this video a like, also comment, share, and subscribe. I am so happy you made it this far, and I'll see you next month. This is Autumn Raine Reads, giving you a reason to read. Bye!